Welcome to Takeology with your two boys in the lab, so you can do the cooking. Hope you're having a good day. I'm here with the one and the only Matthew McDonald. How we feeling?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've dealt with a lot of crap talk from my friends after last night, and I wanna kind of set that straight with some stats for the Chiefs game from last night.
Off rip?
Yeah, no, not off rip. I'll save it, but I've just been thinking about this since I've been going to bed last night. I was thinking about what I was going to say on the pod because I knew it was going to come up. But I'll just say I wasn't as concerned as other people are about the game last night. But good week of fantasy. Had some injuries which we'd like to avoid, but it was still a great week to watch some football.
I want to agree with that statement, but when you lose in fantasy, football doesn't seem fun.
This is one of those things where it can make you just hate football.
Yeah,
there's so much anticipation going into each week. You set your lineups, you're checking which player to start, which to sit, and then you get to the Sunday, the game, and then you just started the complete wrong guy. So yeah, it's tough sometimes.
One of the worst feelings. So I mean, you know this. I'm a pastor, right? So I'm preaching. Get done with Sunday. I'm ready to go check my lineup, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. First glance, I'm like, I'm doing awful. My percentage jumped from 64 to 30, and it's like, this is wonderful. Surprising.
And like when you see you're up, like you have a 70% chance to win one, and then 30 minutes later you check it and it says 20%. You just don't even want to watch football the rest of the day.
Nope. Literally stopped checking. I was like, you know what? If this is the day, I'm done. It's over with. I'm not going to spend time.
It's really tough to keep a good attitude throughout the day of football.
Yeah.
It really is. Unless your team's just spanking. But there's always a chance that you can lose. And to see that percentage just tick down the whole day. Like I was playing my sister in one of my leagues, and I halfway through the day I had an 80% chance to win. And then by the end of the night, I had a 5%. So it's tough.
And those 5%, the 5% is like, really? Like, just give me zero.
It's honestly an insult.
It hurts. I had a 1% chance to win, and I was down by 20, and he had one player to play. It's like, what is he going to go negative 20? Is that my 1% chance? It's just it was a slap in the face.
Yeah, my 5% was I had Harrison Butker, and they were acting like he could have scored 20 points. There's just no way.
Hey, if the Chiefs could have kept that offense going crazy. And I want to jump ahead. I want to stir you up. You know.
I'm gonna get stirred up. There's no doubt about it.
I can feel the energy all the way from Missouri, man, or Arkansas, Missouri, pretty much the same.
Right on the state line.
Go Bearville, baby. Go Bearville.
Come on.
But welcome to Takeology. I know we started off hot and heavy, man. The Chiefs, they did not pull through, which we'll get to in a second. But here we are, another week of football, another good time of fantasy. Even if you lost, there was some good fantasy outlook. But we're going to start us off with our lab report. Slap that bad boy down there. Got a lot of, not a lot of injuries, but just a lot of people hurt this season so far. You never want that to happen, but it just seems like big names continue to just fall and fall and fall. And one of the biggest ones I want to throw out there and start with is Omarion Hampton. Man, he was the Chargers just can't keep a running back. Najee Harris, it was awful to see him come down like a non-contact. And then Omarion Hampton, the rookie who was doing well, that you wanted to see succeed, it's like, man, this just sucks, you know?
Yeah, he was actually starting to pop off and kind of have his breakout. Yeah. So it's definitely to see him. It's definitely tough to see him go down with the ankle injury. And usually with those high ankles, it's either the 3 games, like we've said, or no games. To see him go on IR, it kind of concerns you even a little bit more, because it could possibly hold him out for more than those 4 games. So it's definitely tough. But if you have Omarion Hampton, go check the waiver wire. There's 2 backups that you could pick up. And we saw Michael Carter come through for the Cardinals if you picked him up. So there's definitely still value picking these backups off the waiver wire.
Yeah, Hassan Haskins looks like the more lead back compared to Kamani Vidal. But you never know with the Chargers. They've been known to play a 2-man backfield before, and so it just depends on how Harbaugh's feeling, who he wants to run up there, and who's looking better. They even signed Naheem Hines to the practice squad. That's a name from the old Colts, man. But that's irrelevant in terms of tier waiver wire pickups. Um, what else we got on the injury report today, Mr. Matt? Kind of throw
Yeah,
the
so we
lob to you there. Lob report.
we had Spencer Schrader go on IR, which is tough because he was a good kicker on a lot of people's rosters, especially Alex's
Hate
here.
dude.
So seeing him go down with the knee injury is tough. Now kickers are kind of a position where you can go pick one up and not feel too bad about it. They're pretty similar.
I do want to throw out there within that though. I would suggest if you don't have a good kicker, okay, kickers are actually very vital. The guy that they signed to take his place is Michael Badgley. Okay, the Colts are like just really good this year. I mean, I can't even think of a good word. Magnificent, maybe even. They're going crazy, dude. And so they're going to get past the 50-yard line. And if they can get a kicker that's at least relatively decent, this guy's going to have good numbers. Spencer Schrader, I mean, he was a backup on the Chiefs last year, wasn't he? Behind Harrison Butker. It's not like this guy was just out of nowhere, just an amazing talent. So I would go pick up Michael Badgley. Just throwing it out there. Didn't want to
Yeah,
say it with you on the pod because you might go get him, but I'm going to try my best. So
no, I fully agree. Kicker, if you're on an offense as good as the Colts have been this year, this efficient, if you can get a kicker on that type of offense, you need to go pick him up because he's going to score you points, whether it's extra points or field goals. If they can be consistently going past that 50-yard line, like you pointed it out, we've seen kickers kick from 50 all year this year. They
yeah.
make it look routine now, so that's definitely someone to go pick up. We had Brenton Strange go down against the Chiefs. He got put on IR with a quad injury. That's tough because he's actually had a pretty decent year. He's been a guy that can kind of fill in for you off the waiver wire. So you'll have to look towards a different option for them. Tyrone Tracy came back to practice in a limited fashion. We could see him back. They do play Thursday, though, so that's kind of a quick game to have a turnaround like that. So we might see him this week. We might not. But that's something definitely to watch because we've kind of seen Scadaboo's breakout here. It hasn't been amazing, but he's been getting all the work. And if you add Tyrone Tracy back into this, we could see kind of a 50-50 split, which is not something we want to see, especially with a guy like Scadaboo because he's not necessarily just super explosive. He kind of gains off volume. So if he's getting 50% of the rushing attempts, that's going to definitely hurt him in fantasy.
What comes to mind? He's kind of like Josh Jacobs, to be honest with
Yeah,
you. I mean, obviously
kind of
Josh
a
Jacobs,
bruiser.
but that man, if he gets 20 plus snaps a game, he's somebody that's useful. And I think Cam, the more snaps he gets, the better he's going to be. So Tyron Tracy, you love to see a guy come back and be healthy, but it sucks for fantasy. I did see something too. Jackson Dart kind of dealing with an injury, so something to just kind of keep an eye on in terms of if Russell Wilson comes back, man, just stay away from his offense. So.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping to see him get traded to the Bengals. Not
Man,
because it would be great for the Bengals, but just to get him off that team so that we didn't have that possibility. But you're right, Jackson was limited, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. If he does miss, we might see Winston come in, and that's just due to them already benching Russell. So
yeah.
we'll have to check on that. Another injury, Terry McLaurin. He has a chance to play this week on Monday. He's been dealing with the quad injury, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. If he does come back, this may affect Debo, who has had a fantastic beginning of the year. Being in the top 10 for Debo when he was drafted in the 7th to 10th round, somewhere in there, that's a great value for you if you picked him up late in the draft. A couple more here. Antonio Gibson for the Patriots tore his ACL, so he'll be out indefinitely. This could be great for Trevion Henderson, who has been struggling to kind of get the snaps and the trust on this team. If he can clean some stuff up and get more of a workload, that would be fantastic just because he's such an explosive player. But I think we've kind of seen they trust Stevenson in the red zone and they kind of just trust him more overall. He had a fumble this game and they still played him over Henderson.
And
And
he's
this
a
guy
problem
is
with.
he's struggled with fumbles his whole career.
Yeah.
And I think he got the extension from the Patriots. I think they just ultimately trust him and like him. And no matter what the fantasy community kind of thinks about Henderson, whatever the team likes and the coach likes is ultimately who's going to play. So I know there's going to be a lot of hype around this injury for Henderson, but honestly, it probably affects Stevenson more and it just helps him out a little bit more. And you got him off the waiver wire likely. So Stevenson's going to be a pretty good guy for you as long as this workload keeps up.
Yeah, he's an anchor that you want to have because if Henderson in any shape goes down, which obviously we hope that's not the case, right? You want these guys to stay healthy. But if he goes down, Stevenson's the guy. And the Patriots, even just looking at this last game against a good team in the Bills, defensively at least. Well, just overall, they're a good team. But the Patriots look good offensively. And if they can get close to the goal line, Stevenson at least will score, which we saw twice, got 2 touchdowns. Which I truly don't understand why they wouldn't use the rookie when Stevenson even has dealt with the fumble troubles. But like you said, and you said it well, if a team likes him, they're going to play him. Think about the Steelers. Caleb Johnson was a highly touted rookie, really. I mean, coming out of Iowa. So it's like, what?
I haven't seen him at all.
No, solely because not that he's not that good, but just the personnel doesn't want him out there. So.
That's the coach is the one that ultimately makes the decision. Even if we have him on our fantasy teams, he doesn't give a rip.
Make a call. Let me make a call.
Yeah, I'll make a call for you. 2 more here. Brock Bauer, he's designated as week to week with the knee injury. It's been a bone bruise, and he's kind of been dealing with it for the past couple weeks. I think we've noticed his downplay in play here as of recently, and there's been a lot of reports from doctors that if he continues to play on it, it's something that could injure him permanently long term. So it might be something that they kind of take him off the field, even though he doesn't want to sit. It might be better for just his overall health if he sits out a few weeks. So that's just something to monitor. And then the last one, Christian Watson returned to practice. We haven't seen him since last year dealing with the knee injury. Seems like he's pretty constantly hurt, but him coming back just kind of muddies that wide receiver core even more. So we've been seeing Romeo Doubs have a lot of success on this team. So it's just something we need to monitor to see kind of how the snap share goes this upcoming week if Christian does play.
Christian Watson is in the past has been a dog, especially in the deep ball. And this offense has looked good, but it's like you said, is it gonna matter? Is it gonna make a difference with how many hands there are to feed on this team? So who knows? But definitely something to look out for. I did want to throw this out there. I saw this on the news feed here. Interesting. Didn't know if you've seen this or not. Mark Andrews is rumored to be available for a trade.
Yeah, he was a guy that was kind of rumored all offseason to get traded, and he didn't. And I think it's due to Likely's injury that he stayed on the team. So with Likely back and healthy, the Ravens might be in their best interest, especially with the situation the team's in now, being 1-4, having Lamar out. It definitely might be in their best interest to kind of move off him, get the more experience for Likely, and then possibly get some draft compensation in return.
Wouldn't be a bad idea with the age and the circumstances. I agree. Yeah, 100%. I did want to give some news before we jump off this. Pretty big news in some ways hit the world today. The Joe Flacco been traded to the Bengals, who are now championship contenders because of their new leading quarterback, Mr. Joe Flacco. What does this mean for the team? Just a new name that's going to get sacked, really, essentially. But Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, this is huge, even for Chase Brown, because truly he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. This looks great for fantasy. I mean, you got to be excited. I mean, how do you feel as a Jamar Chase advocate, I would say?
I do. I mean, it's tough because he's a 40-year-old quarterback who's about to be behind the worst offensive line in the league. So it's nice in the aspect that he's going to throw 40-plus times, and it has to lead to some success for Jamar Chase. But you're also bringing a guy in here that doesn't know the offensive scheme at all. He's non-mobile with the worst offensive line in the league. So we could honestly see him go out on a stretcher this year. But while he is healthy, it should benefit Jamar Chase and Higgins, especially. Higgins has just been terrible all year. Jamar's at least had 2 good games where he kind of won you the week, but it just the overall pass volume should go up, so it should be good for fantasy, but he's going to have to get rid of the ball almost as soon as he gets it.
He does throw quick though, so tight end wise, that might go well. He's a tight end
Well,
kind of guy.
he has to.
Yeah, dude, just man. In terms of the Browns, though, I did kind of want to go this direction with you too and see what your thoughts were. This opens the door for quicker play time for the Shadur Sanders. I mean, what's going through your mind on this? Do you think Dylan Gabriel just needs to step aside and it's time for Mr. Shadur to pop up?
It's weird because I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the interview Shador recently had?
I have not seen that. No, need to check that out.
So they promoted Dylan Gabriel to the number one QB, and I guess I don't know if it was advice he got or what, but Shador did an interview where he spoke no words. He just mouthed everything, and I just don't understand if that was supposed to be funny. It this guy
That's weird.
he's not just interviewing as a quarterback for this team he's on. He's interviewing for the 32 other teams in the league, who
Yeah.
a lot of them are struggling at quarterback. The Vikings, they're starting Carson Wentz right now. The Browns quarterback situation's terrible, and he can't even get to the QB1. The
Yeah.
Bengals, terrible. The Giants hasn't been great, which they're going to start Jackson Dart, but
He looks
there's
good.
so many other teams that could be interested in him. And then he does an interview like this. Basically, it looked like he was mocking the reporter, which I'm sure that's not the case. He got a lot of flack for saying that he thinks he's more talented than a lot of other quarterbacks in this league. And Rex Ryan kind of just blew him up on that. So I'm sure he was responding with no words, kind of making a point. If you don't like what I do say, then I just won't say nothing at all. But
Uh,
it's not very professional, I would
yeah.
say, and it's not a good look for a young quarterback that's trying to get a starting job. So,
No.
but just off Dylan's play, he played okay. They had a chance to win this game. He had 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran the ball a little bit as well, 2 carries. It's just Dylan Gabriel's not special. He's going to be okay, and he's going to offer kind of a baseline for these receivers on their team. I think the biggest beneficiary, honestly, is Quinshon Judkins. This dude
Dude.
looks like a top 10 running back rest of the season,
Yeah.
which is great for you if you picked him up late in drafts, which he's probably last round pick. But 23 carries and 110 yards, I think they're really just going to run the ball the rest of the year. I think it'll probably be Dylan Gabriel for a while, and then he'll kind of taper off, and we'll probably see Shador at the end of the season just so they can see what they have in him. But I'm not excited, I'll say that, for the Browns receivers. I don't think it's an upward move. I think it's just it's a lateral one or a downgrade at best.
Yeah, I definitely something I noticed. David Njoku got a lot of work finally again. Kind of what you expected from him, and I think Dylan Gabriel or any rookie a lot of times favor tight ends. This could be good in terms of for the tight end play on the Browns. Even Harold Fannin got some work out there compared to the receivers. But dude, Quinshon Judkins did not expect this. I mean, I knew he's a dog in college, right? But I didn't expect him to come in and just tear him up against a decent Vikings defense. I mean, they're not terrible. So I was kind of shocked by that there. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'd like to see Shadur, but you never know out there.
He's not making it easy for himself. I'll just say that.
No, he's not. But that's up to him at the end of the day. Wanted to give some quick waiver wire ads before we jump into talking about some of the games and some of the players, which I know we gave kind of a few. I think we mentioned Kendrick Bourne. If we did not, the man had a ton of targets. I want to give them to you exactly here, how it went there. 11 targets, 10 catches, 142 yards. If this man is getting that many targets, I don't care who's throwing the ball, Mac Jones, whoever it is, that's pretty solid. And Ricky Pearsall's been dealing with injury. George Kittle's out. He's pretty much Brandon Ayuk's still not back. I don't even know when he's supposed to be coming back. But he's the guy right now in terms of who else is there. So
Yeah, and Mac Jones played good. I mean,
they
they
did.
beat a good Rams team, so I think you can trust Mac Jones for these receivers, and I think even with Ricky back, I think Kendrick might still have a spot on this team. Now, you have to watch it because Kittle is close to returning. So when Kittle and Pearsall return and Jennings, I think this would kind of eliminate Kendrick. But for the short term, if you needed kind of a fill in at receiver in your flex position, maybe I think he could be a guy you could look at if you're limited on your bench.
Yeah, yeah. Just as a shot in the dark, uh, Rico Dowdle, he should already be picked up in most leagues. But I just even just wanted to mention the name because I wanted to ask you this. Okay, number one, can't stand him at the moment because I have Chuba Hubbard. Do you think this dominant performance from Rico Dowdle hurts Chuba Hubbard's snap take?
Unfortunately, yeah. Uh, I think Chuba will still have the goal line work, which is honestly what you want in fantasy.
Right.
But Rico's an explosive player. He was the same way with Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a straight 50-50, but I think he'll definitely get a little more work than he did before just
Yeah.
due to this amazing performance. And with Chuba hurt, Rico plays Dallas next week. And
Bro.
if dude, if he's going to go off against a team, it's definitely the one that wouldn't sign him and signed Javonte Williams instead, who had looked terrible. Now he's playing good this year,
He's
but
been a dog.
yeah, he's been good. But before this year, Javonte looked like his career was over after that injury. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something to watch.
Freaking Rico Dowdle, dude. I just it just hurts. It hurts. Wanted the man to pop off. Did not to pop off, Mr. Chuba. Would have loved to seen that. But those are some of the waiver wire ads out there. You got any more on your list before we move on?
One I'd like to. We pointed him out last week, but Kendre Miller, he just continues to see an uptick on his rushing attempts each week, and I don't know if it's necessarily a downturn in Kamara's play, but he is an older back, and Kendre Miller looks to be the more explosive player. Kamara is always going to have a place in the passing game, but as far as the rushing game goes, Kendre Miller looks like the much better player. So I've seen him picked up in most leagues, but if he's still out there, I would definitely look at him. And then one that it can be another fill gap position for you if you're struggling with injuries. Kareem Hunt. I know he's not sexy. He's not an amazing player, but he gets everything on the goal line. We've seen Pacheco do it in the past, but now Pacheco is basically in between the 40s. He's the guy that gets all the work. But if it's third down or a goal line work, it's Kareem Hunt. And we saw it this past game. He had 2 touchdowns. He's just going to get everything in the red zone, and that's definitely what you want at your running back position.
Yeah. Good anchor, especially if you're on a good team. That might change if the Alvin Kamara. I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping, man. It would be good.
Yeah, that'd be great. But he does. One thing to note with him is he does have a pretty high salary, so it's going to be hard unless a team has if we have a Super Bowl bound team and they have their starter go out, you may see him traded for. But he has a pretty high salary just to trade for him. If you don't have very high Super Bowl or playoffs hope in general.
Right. Just hoping. Just hoping for the best here.
Hey man, I'm hoping too. I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm hoping for that.
Your faith has to be big on that one. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if you got any start sits today, but we'll jump in first to our team matchups. Number one, dude, I do not know how they do it. I don't understand it. Don't think I ever will. How they have the best two-man backfield in the entire game, probably ever. Honestly, it may be okay to say they have the best two punch running back combo ever. David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs. David Montgomery has 2 passing touchdowns now, dude. Not this year, but just overall. He had 65 yards, 18 carries, and a touchdown. And Jameer Gibbs did what Jameer does. They both got some work, and they played a bad Bengals team. But with Jake Browning going out, whole different look for this team. I think, obviously, in terms of fantasy uptake, maybe not in terms of wins. Um, but Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing his thing, 100 yards. Sam Laporta, I think another thing to throw out there, 5 for 6, 92 yards and a touchdown. He hasn't had that great of a year in terms of when you think about his rookie year, but you finally got to see some work there. Was tied in 4 on the week. So that was kind of nice to see as well. And your boy Isaac Tesla, 2 touchdowns on the year. Good old
Yeah,
Hog, man.
he's a good player. He's going to be mainly used for the red zone, I think, but that's just because he's so athletic. But I think a person of note on the Lions is Jamison Williams. He's been
Yeah.
a disappointment all year, and we kind of thought this might be a game where we could kind of see him break out to be the player that we were hoping he'd be this year, after getting that contract extension and us just thinking he's going to have a great year. But he had one catch this game for 9 yards, so he's definitely a guy you definitely don't want to drop him just because he's a guy that could have a 70-yard touchdown every game. He's just
Yeah.
that explosive. But it's definitely been disappointing to see kind of his production this year. But going to that running back duo you were referring to, David
Yeah.
Montgomery, he's going to get a lot of carries as well as Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr is definitely the more explosive player, but David is really good in the red zone. And well, they both are, but David is kind of a bruising back, and we saw him throw a touchdown this game, which was awesome. It's great to see that the Lions still kind of have their swagger as far as offensive play calling goes, even though they lost Ben Johnson. It's great to see everybody still having success. And then Amon Ra, he's as automatic as it gets in fantasy football. Him and Puka Nakua, you can rely on them to have 6+ receptions, 80+ yards, and possibly a touchdown. They're going to get that every single week, and it's amazing to have them in your lineup. Jared Goff continues his strong play. He's kind of a guy that you're going to play off the waiver wire one week and he might only have one touchdown, but then you'll have games like this where he throws 3. So he's a guy that you can definitely kind of look to on a week to week basis if you have an injury here and there. And then the Cincinnati side, it continues to be a disappointment for Chase Brown. He
Yeah.
kind of split it with Samaje Perine this game, only had 8 carries, averaged around 3.4 yards a carry. Now, the only saving grace was he had 7 receptions, which only turned out for 21 yards, but he's at least got a floor that's pretty high just based off the receiving game. But he's definitely been one of the worst picks in fantasy. I mean, going in
Yeah.
the second round, and a lot of it's not his fault. The offensive line's terrible, but you cannot let Samaje Perine average more yards per carry than you. The dude's
No.
30 the dude's 30 years old. He's not explosive at all. He was on the Chiefs last year. He
It's
was
terrible.
solely a receiving back. He's never used in the rushing attack anymore, and he's averaging more yards per carry. So that's definitely a disappointment. Now, it was good to see Jamar Chase. This is why you continue to put him in your lineup, even though it's not been amazing. He can have games like this just because of how great he is, where he can win you a week. And 29 points this week in fantasy, it's just one of those things where you can't really sit him down. And Cincinnati's they're gonna manufacture a lot of touches for him, which kind of offers you a pretty high floor in fantasy. So I think you can continue to start him. But Higgins, I think he's basically unplayable. He had a touchdown this game, but it was only 3 catches and 22 yards. Without
Oh,
that
7
touchdown,
yards.
without that touchdown, he's just useless. So I definitely would be wary of him, especially with Flacco coming in. We kind of have to see who his favorite targets are. It could be the tight ends, like you pointed out. They do have Noah Fant on this team, which he had 0 catches this week. So it's definitely going to be it's going to be interesting to see who he targets the most, with the exception of Jamar. It'll be really cool to see if he does a lot of dump offs to Chase Brown. That would make a lot of fantasy managers happy.
I would assume that that's the case. Uh, and Mike Gesicki, well, good old Miami Dolphin back today. He
Sticky
was
gets
kind of,
sticky.
dude, that man was kind of popping off for a season there where it was like, this guy might be the next big thing, but he was not. But Joe Flacco, I mean, he's going to bring some life to the fantasy world of the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe even just some life to the team. So we'll see what that pans out. But for Jace Brown, it's sad to see, and just in general, when you pick a guy that had a good year last year, even in terms of like not necessarily the best team he could be on, and just with Joe Burrow and injury prone and all those things, and the offensive line being bad, to pick him in the second round and just have him flop like this, it just hurts. It's just bad. It's kind of like the one year you pick Austin Eckler, and he just fumbles
He's
the
just terrible.
yeah. But part of fantasy. But somebody, man, who has shocked me this year as we go into this next game might just be rookie of the year. Genuinely, Emeka Egbuka. I don't even know how to say his name. It doesn't even matter because this man is a dog, dude. I mean, what more can you want from this guy? 7 for 7, 163 yards and a touchdown. He's receiver 3 as a rookie. Now, obviously, Mike Evans did not play in this game. Chris Godwin obviously was here, but he only had 4 targets. Um, and we didn't have a Bucky Irving, right? But do you think Mike Evans coming back? I'll answer it first. I don't think it affects him at all because this guy is just a dog. And if there's a third string or not a third level DB on this guy, he's going to cook him because he's cooking top guys. So I mean, how do you feel about this Buccaneers offense? Rachaad White had a great game too, by the way. So
Yeah, I feel pretty good overall. Baker continues his strong play, 379, 2 touchdowns. It's crazy to see the resurgence Baker had after going. He had that one good game with the Rams, gets sent to the Bucks, and this dude, he looks like the number one overall pick that he was supposed to be when he was drafted. So
yeah,
this offense in general is just fantastic. When you have your starting running back go out and you still have Rashawn White behind him, even Sean Tucker is a talented player. He just doesn't get much work. But this offense in general, they have so many pass catchers as well. We haven't really seen much from Cade Otton all year. And then
yeah,
this game, he has 81 yards out of nowhere. He's a talented guy. We saw it last year. There's just so many mouths to feed on this team. But like you kind of stated, I think the biggest mouth of them all is going to be Ibuka. And he's utilized so much in the red zone, and he's become Baker's favorite target. In
yeah,
the offseason, they asked Baker what his favorite or what he was looking forward to the most this season. And the first thing he brought up was Emeka Ibuka, just the talent he was and how he was excited to see people get to see him play. So I think the rapport they have gained with each other and continue to develop throughout the year, it's just going to continue. Now, do I think he's going to finish top 5? Probably not. And the reason I think that is because he's got 5 touchdowns through 4 weeks. That type of production
yeah,
in the red zone probably will not stay for the whole year. That's one of those things where you can have 5 the first 4 and then end with 7. So it's definitely something to watch. I don't think he'll finish the top 5, but do I think he'll finish top 10, 12? I do. He's one of their favorite targets on this team. Mike Evans coming back, I think it won't do anything to him. It might decrease Chris Godwin's work, Cade Otton's work, maybe some of the passing game to the running backs, but I don't think Ibuka is going to be affected. And switching to the other side, the Seahawks played a great
dude,
game.
yeah,
Sam Darnold played great. He had the one pick at the end, but it ricocheted off a teammate's helmet, and he was pressured on the throw. So I don't want to discount his play at all. 341 through the air, 4 touchdowns. He was fantastic. Jackson Smith, my boy,
dude.
continues his dominant run.
He
Dude,
might be a top 5 receiver at the end of the year.
I think
Genuinely.
it's I think it's set in stone. He's a top 5 receiver. He's the favorite target on this offense. Cooper Kupp played decent. He's going to be a guy that he's not going to win you a week, but he's going to give you decent production week to week.
He's a
He's just
flex
a
play.
guy. Yeah, he can settle Sam Darnold down, move the sticks. He's a good player. He's just a veteran out there on the field. And then AJ Barner, he's their tight end. He had a touchdown last week, had 2 this week. He might be a guy you need to possibly look at picking up if you're struggling at tight end. He might be the one of the next tight ends on the come up.
I didn't even realize this. Tight end 9, week 2. Tight end 8, week 4. Tight end 1 this week. This guy's kind of been sneaky with it.
Yeah, I think he's kind of becoming one of Sam's favorite red zone targets. And I think we get caught up on name value a lot of the
Yeah.
time when we're deciding whether to pick up a player or play a player. And I think you just kind of have to throw that all out. If you
Yeah.
see a guy consistently putting up numbers and consistently getting targeted in the red zone, it's something you need to watch at the very least. And I think he could be a guy that Alex is probably going to pick him up right now. But he's definitely, I know you. Yeah, I know. He's definitely a guy you need to keep your eyes on. And then the running back game, it was okay this game.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker, excuse me, had 10 carries. He was great on those 10 carries. He had 86 yards, pretty efficient, 8.6 a carry. But the thing that's frustrating for Kenneth Walker owners or managers is Zach Charbonnet continues to get the touchdowns in the rushing game, and that's 3 on the year for him. I think he's going to be a guy that offers you a pretty high floor just because of how he's utilized in the red zone.
Yeah.
Did you
Man,
pick him up?
it's waivers, so I can't. I put in a claim. So just
You
depends
did
on
it.
who else
Did you
does.
do it in Dynasty?
Yeah. My top claim. Because I'm not going to get – I'm priority 10. It's not like I'm going to get him.
Yeah, but wait, you're 10 even though you lost?
Yeah, because I'm that good.
What am I, 9? I'm going to have to
Probably.
pick him up.
Probably. Dude, don't freaking do that.
That's tough, isn't it?
It is. No, if it was a matter of just adding this guy, he'd have been on my team immediately. Immediately been on my team. Dude, I bet within that – so about that backfield, it's just Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. They're both dogs.
It's
It's just
it
yeah.
truly is frustrating.
It's like, what are you going to do? I mean, you obviously you have to rely on Kenneth Walker, but are you really going to start Zach Charbonnet?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the way I would describe it is like you have Major League Baseball, and that's the Lions running back duo. Then you
Yeah,
have the minors of the Major League Baseball, and that's the Seahawks.
dude.
They're not offering really anything great from either guy, but both of them offer you a pretty high floor. But they're not going to win you a week by any means.
No. It's just it's just one of those things, dude. One of those things. I did want to point this out. This game too. Wanted to go here. Broncos Eagles. Okay, I know as a Chiefs fans, you're thankful that the Eagles lost. I'm sure.
Not really though, because Broncos are in division.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because you would rather bad division. We went bad. Uh, we'll get to the Chiefs and
But you're right. I am always happy to see the Eagles lose.
right because it's just them fly Eagles fly. You know what I mean? But something that continues to surprise me is J.K. Dobbins, dude. I don't know how he's done it. How he's continuing to be a dog after all these injuries and 5 years in the league. That this guy still could get 20 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown against a really good Eagles front line. They're a little banged up, but still. I was watching this game, and, man, the Broncos, they've got it together, man. They play good ball. I mean, the Eagles should have won this. But then on the Eagles side, A.J. Brown, dude. This guy's starting to be he's starting to frustrate me. Dude literally gave up on a 70-yard bomb because, like, well, whatever, I'm not going to get targeted. The dude still got 8 targets, only brought in 5 or 43 yards. I mean, how can he complain on 8 targets in a game? But they did pass a lot more, which we kind of seen take away a lot from Barkley. The only reason he had a big fantasy output is because he had a really long 64-yard pass that came in as a touchdown. You take that away, it's not a very good game for Barkley. So, I mean, how do you feel about this game?
It's super interesting because the Broncos obviously have a good defense, and we kind of knew that just coming into the year. But honestly, I didn't think the Broncos played that well. I think if you watch Bo Nix that game, you weren't really, his stat line looks okay, but you weren't really impressed with his play.
It all
24,
came in the fourth quarter.
yeah, 24 completions on 39 attempts. And he had a QBR of 64. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird offense, but we kind of had high expectations for Bo Nix coming into the year, just based on how he played his rookie year. So hopefully we kind of see after this big win an uptick in his play. But J.K. Dobbins, he's continuing what he did last year at the start for the Chargers. He's a good veteran running back that's gonna, you can trust him in these spots. He's gonna get you those yards. It has been so disappointing having R.J. Harvey not get much work behind him. It's pretty darn similar to the Patriots backfield not having Henderson get any work, but Harvey is at least going to offer you a little bit in the passing game. He had 3 catches this game. Cortland Sutton kind of had a comeback game here. He's been kind of off and on, but I think a lot of it's due to Bo Nix's play. So I think he's a pretty decent, either he's a low tier wide receiver 1 or a pretty high tier wide receiver 2. And then Troy Franklin continues to be the number 2 receiver on this offense. I think he's definitely warranting a bench spot at the least, just off the work he's been getting week to week. And then on the Eagles side, I know I'm a documented Eagles hater, but do you think this offense has looked good this year? Because I do not. They have won 4 games, and you can't take those away from them. But I think it's pretty telling that when Jalen Hurts throws 35 plus times, like he did this game, they
Yeah.
never win. They always lose. He had a 55 quarterback rating this game, uh, 23 for 38. He just didn't look great. It turned out great for Devontae Smith. 10 targets, 8 catches, 114 yards. But as you pointed out, AJ Brown, he continues to struggle. And like you said, I think a lot of it is it was pointed out on the broadcast. Actually, he just kind of quit on a few routes,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily because of the targets. He's getting the targets. It's just, I think a lot of it's attitude with the team. He got his ring now. He's on like his 3rd or 4th contract. He really just wants numbers, and I don't know if you can necessarily blame the dude. He's done
Yeah.
everything you can do in your career. He just wants to make the Hall of Fame now, so he's going to want the most production. And I think we've come to know that Jalen Hurts is a pretty streaky quarterback. He's kind of, his whole reputation's kind of based upon playing so well in 2 separate Super Bowls, which he won one and had a chance to win the other against one of the best teams over the last decade. So you can't really discount Jalen Hurts' play, but he's very streaky.
Yeah.
And this team has just shown that they do not succeed when they're throwing this much on a per game basis. So I think the way to win with this team is running Saquon 18 plus times and then kind of mixing in 20 to 25 pass attempts a game, which is not going to turn out well when you have AJ already throwing a fit when he's gotten 8 targets.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Ravens situation, but they just don't have a diva at the moment. You know what I'm saying? With its commanding the ball. Um, where it's like, guys, you just need to run the ball. Just run the ball. 2-man attack, your quarterback, your running back. Run option, option, option. Play action, and then throw some passes. And you'll succeed. But I don't know. I don't think he'll demand a trade or anything like that, just in terms of, I mean, he could, right? But
Could
if they're
the
going to
could the
keep winning,
Eagles trade him though? Like, would that be in their best interest? Honestly, you kind of get the toxicity out of the locker room. You can feed Devontae more, who's a great receiver
great
in
guy.
his own route. Dallas Goddard's had a good year.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just, do you want? It's documented that him and Jalen Hurts aren't that close. They don't necessarily like each other. So I don't know if you want to continue that. Jalen Hurts is going to be on this team for the foreseeable future. So I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if you want to kind of keep that in your locker room. He's such a talented player that you don't really want to get rid of him. But if he's going to cause issues like this every game, and that's what leads them to throw this many times a game and just starts losing them games, what's necessarily the point?
Yeah. Maybe it's a matter of trade him while you can get value back as a team. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think it's a bad idea for them to do so, especially if there's bad blood kind of in the environment and stuff like that. But I mean, where do you send him? Do you think everybody would want this guy?
Yeah, I think I think he's that talented of a player that people just don't really care about his attitude.
They'll
Uh,
take him.
you look like I'll point out his old coach for the Patriots. Uh, I guarantee, with as much cap space as they have, and they look kind of decent already. If they got offered the chance to trade for him, I guarantee they would, and it would be in a heartbeat.
That's a lot of attitude in that receiver room, though, dude. Diggs and AJ Brown would be
No, I
crazy.
get it. I get it. But Mike Vrabel, his past coach,
Yeah, all
and
time.
this Patriots team looks like it's on the come up. So if you can get a chance to get a top tier receiver like that in the building, I don't see why you wouldn't. But now this was just a. There's no reports that they're going to trade him.
Right,
It was
right. This
just
is
a
just spit balls. How would you call it?
spitballing.
Spitballing, dude. That could have came out real bad. So I'm glad you saved me there. Yeah, spitballing is what you would call it. All right, let's go to a few more games here before we close out. Do you have any start sits today? Or
No, who do you got?
I don't have any start sits right now, but I
Okay,
may throw some at you. Just to,
that's on us. We should have
no, no,
came with those.
it's all right. It's one of those. It's one of those weeks where it was a rough week for the heart. In terms of the loss in fantasy and the game we're going to cover here in a second, the good old loss to the Chiefs. I wanted to cover the Colts game, not because it was a battle between two teams, because man, do the Raiders suck. I have a few questions for you, Matt. Do you stop starting Geno Smith? Is it time to sit this man down?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy answer. Yes. Uh, Pete Carroll has been known to just hate mistakes in an offense. And Geno Smith has been the most mistake prone quarterback this year.
Literally,
Um, I'll check right now to see how many picks he has.
he's on pace for I think it's 30 to 50 interceptions on the end of the season, maybe 50, the high number I think.
Yeah, so far he has 9 picks, which is ranked 63rd in the league. Uh, and he has a 38.6 QBR, which
Awful.
is which is 28th. So there's 4 quarterbacks worse than him.
It's
But
not like this is a bad team either.
no, I honestly thought they were a team coming into the year that had a chance to kind of do something. Not not necessarily win the division or anything, but just kind of revitalize their team as a whole. And it just has not worked out that way. He's been terrible. And the only downside of it is they have Kenny Pickett behind him.
Yeah.
And
Super Bowl champ.
I, I don't know if he offers much better than Geno, but I think that move is likely going to happen. Pete Carroll said last week that he debated on whether to sit Geno, so it's already in his head.
Yeah.
And if this play continues, if he is lucky enough to get another game, he better make the most of it, or he's getting benched.
Yeah, I would as if I was the coach, right? If I had that kind of power, I'd sit him just as a statement, like, listen, either you get it together or you're no longer starting in this position. And maybe they don't care, but it's not like they've got an easy game these next few games. Tennessee, Kansas City, a bye, Jacksonville, Denver, and then Dallas. Maybe that's the next one he could really pop off in terms of passing game. It's not like you got much room to just improve because the teams are bad you're playing against. They've already kind of went through a stretch where it's like you should have kind of had a decent game at least.
Yeah, and the tough part is he's a highly paid guy.
Yeah,
I think actually they gave him a 2-year extension when they signed him. So I don't know how the contract's structured, but they're probably stuck with him for a while, at
yeah,
least next year. But even though Kenny Pickett, we know what he is, he's not great. I think you might at least have to try him just to
yeah.
see if he works better with this team. because Geno's play is just there's no excuse for it. He's been in this league so long, and he looked good with the Seahawks the past 3 years. I don't really know what has happened. It could be the downturn in Brock Bowers' play.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough or as much weapons as he had with the Seahawks. But this start of the year, there's no excuses for him really. It's been terrible.
No. But Mr. Indiana Jones,
Danny Dimes, he
Danny
continues.
Dimes, baby. You got to be a believer. If you don't believe, change that, because this guy is a dog. Now, 20 for 29, 212, 2 touchdowns, 1 carry for 2 yards. Not necessarily like great fantasy numbers, but my goodness, Jonathan Taylor pulled through. This guy's looking like the Jonathan Taylor from a few years ago that was like a number 1 pick in the fantasy football draft. This guy is looking good. Number 2 running back on the year in PPR. Was running back 2 just this week. The man had a game. 17 carries, 66 yards. Really, it was from the touchdowns, right? But just in terms of fantasy numbers, this man did it. And my boy Michael Pittman Jr., 5 receptions, 6 yards, 39 yards. That's not really that great, but he did good in fantasy. Shout out to my guy. How are we feeling about this team, Matt? Is it time to believe?
I mean, if you haven't now, you should. You should. There's no excuse. Uh, I think we're in a situation last year where Danny Dimes is pretty similar to Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
It's not a sexy name, but you just kind of have to trust what you've seen so far through 4 weeks. He's a talented guy, and there's nothing you can say against it. He's gonna produce for you in fantasy. Jonathan Taylor looks like a top 3 running back in the league. When it comes to fantasy. He's been utilized great in the red zone. We kind of saw Danny Dimes take a few touchdowns away from him, but his utilization looks great. The only guy even close to him is DJ Giddens, and he only had 5 carries. Uh, the receiving game, you know who the guys are. It's going to be Pittman. He looks like Danny Dimes' favorite target, and then Tyler Warren.
Your guy.
Tyler Warren, he's been great for fantasy. So they both had a touchdown this week. I think they're 2 guys that you can just start consistently. I think Pittman's kind of moved into that high tier wide receiver 2, maybe even wide receiver 1 range at the bottom end of it. But I think this is an offense that those 3 guys, 4 if you count Daniel Jones, can be started weekly, and it doesn't really matter the matchup.
The target share in terms of targets, not target. He's always his snap percentage is high, but the amount of targets he gets is not great as a number 1 receiver in terms of Michael Pittman. But he has had a touchdown all but 1 game this year. He is the end zone guy, and he's a great receiver. He's just never really had like that guy to throw him the ball, and I think Danny Dimes is really focusing there. And if you drafted Tyler Warren at like the last 2 rounds in redraft, Dynasty obviously different, but this guy is looking so good. He just runs well. I mean, I like this guy a lot.
It's honestly crazy that a lot of people are more excited about Loveland. He's a talented guy, but I just coming out of college, it didn't really seem like Loveland was as complete of a player as Tyler Warren was. And he slipped in the draft, went 5 picks behind Loveland. And I don't even know if Loveland is healthy right now. He came in hurt and has still been hurt. So it's been a huge, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad pick by the Bears. It could work out in the future, but Tyler Warren definitely looks like he was the better pick at tight end. So, and then you got Mason Taylor, just kind of off topic, but
waiver wire though.
Yeah, he's another rookie tight end that has been producing, and he looks great this year as well.
He does. Hopefully, he's a stud for the rest of the years to come as he sits on my taxi squad. So we'll see. I wanted to throw out before we jump to this game to let Matt really give us the stats here. We should have started with this so that people could hear it. But I hope that people listen to it all the way to the end so they can hear this beautiful argument of facts, not just opinions, of facts of why the Chiefs are the Chiefs. But I wanted to throw out there real quick some of the top dogs this week. Kyron Williams had a bounce back game. Looked good. Dak
Dog.
Prescott, jeez, dude, popped off. Javonte Williams, who would have thought? This guy is doing well, not just in terms of like end zone, getting in the end zone, but the dude's running well.
Yeah, he looks like he did before the injury, so
Yeah.
it's great to see.
So that's something to throw out there. We did talk about Jason, but Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdowns. Uh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was. And last but not least, Mr. Jake Ferguson. Wow, dude. Tied at number 1 on the year. I think it's Trey McBride first in PPR, and then Jake Ferguson's right there with him. But, dude, Jake Ferguson is who we thought he'd be a few years ago. Just these last 2, because he had a pretty good rookie season. No, he is tied at number 1. He is tied at number 1. Targets, 9 targets, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns. Guy's been a dog this year, so don't sleep on it. People get caught up on names over and over again. You said it earlier. Jake Ferguson doesn't sound flashy, but this guy has been a dog all year. Hunter Henry, it's like, who's this guy? But you got to get past that and let the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, I mean he's played great ever since CD went out. He's kind of been the leader in targets on this team, kind of sharing with George. Uh, I would watch it when CD comes back to kind of see how this target share is split between the 3 of them. But so far this season, he's looked great. Just be mindful about it when CD comes back that he may not be producing like he is currently.
Matt McDonald, it is your moment to shine, my friend. Obviously, heartbreaking weekend. The Chiefs lost to the Jaguars 31-28. They're now 2-3. Not looking that great. And once again, their best rusher on this team is their quarterback. Matt, give us the details here. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling frustrated. This game was solely lost on penalties, and I'll stand behind that. You had a Mahomes pick 6, and they ran it back 99 yards, and we lost by 3 points, and had a chance to win the dang game. And Hollywood Brown, I don't know if you watched the end of the game, but we had a chance to get in field goal range. Hollywood Brown running across the field, wasn't ready for the ball, hit him right in the helmet. It was so many mistakes that you can't overcome when you're playing. I know they're the Jaguars, but they were 3-1 coming into the game. They're 4-1 now. They've had a pretty dominant defense, which we made their defense look not as dominant as it has been. They came into the game with 13 takeaways. We only gave them 1, which it was a terrible one. But I'll just read you some stats here. So the Chiefs on yards for the entire game had 476. The Jags had 319. So difference. we almost had 100 more yards. Yards per play: Chiefs 7.6, Jags 5.9. Averaged a yard and a half more than them per play. Rushing yards, which we're supposedly so bad at, we had 158 yards. They had 109. And ETN's had a great year so far. They only had 109 rushing yards.
Yeah, you guys held them.
Yeah, yards per rush, we averaged 7.2. They averaged 4.2. Turnovers, we had 1. They had 2. Time of possession, we had 31 and a half minutes, almost 32 minutes. They had 28 minutes. And then the real kicker of the game is the penalties. We had 13 for 109 yards. They had 4 for 25 yards.
Big difference.
That one stat right there, 13 to 4, and then a 109 to 25 difference in yards. That's what lost us the game. And I think you can look at what the offense did this game and have confidence going forward. 476 yards in a game, you're gonna win the majority of the time if the defense can play how they're supposed to. But the last play of the game, or when the last scoring play from the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, he fell twice
Yeah, it was crazy.
and still got in the end zone. Chris Jones stood there and watched him run into. I think he thought the play was over when he saw him fall to the ground, but he just didn't finish the dang play. And it's a frustrating loss when you beat yourselves. And I don't want to sound like a homer who blames it on the refs. We legit committed 13 penalties. They were all legit. Uh, it's tough to have them call such a pivotal PI in the end
Yeah,
zone when PI happens almost every possession. But you just can't make those mistakes in critical moments, and you can't beat good teams when you're committing 13 penalties for 100 yards. So I think the offense played good. The defense played okay. It's got to be better if we're going to beat some of these good teams. But we talked about it earlier. We're getting Rashee Rice after this next week, and if we play Detroit next week, so if we can get a win against Detroit, come
it
in,
is.
come in 3-3, going against the Raiders, who have looked terrible this year.
Yeah.
I think we can go on kind of a run. So the offense and team, they played decent. They played pretty good, actually. We just beat ourselves on the penalties, but a lot of good teams beat themselves. We've seen the Ravens do it every year. They they have been so close against the Chiefs and then commit stupid penalties, and it's lost them a lot of seasons. So it's something we definitely have to clean up. But overall, I was happy with the team's play. We just have to clean up some of the stupid mistakes when it comes to penalty, and a lot of it was special teams.
Yeah.
The Jaguars' last drive, Harrison Butker kicks it out of bounds. With these new rules, kicking it out of bounds starts him at the 40.
Yep.
You can't make mistakes like that on such a critical part of the game. So it's something that they got to clean up. But overall, we should have won the game, and you just can't make those type of mistakes.
Sad day. No, I definitely think the Chiefs should have won this game. I mean, the offense does look good. It just again, just in terms of like the rushing game, man. You'd think Hunt, Pacheco can figure it out and just break away, but these guys just haven't played that well. Obviously, Hunt had the 2 touchdowns, right? I mean, if they're gonna get close, but Mr. Travis Kelsey got him one about time this year, and it's not like the Jaguars have just this explosive offense. Really beyond Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, I know Travis Hunter's there, but he's just. I mean, they just use him uniquely. But Travis Etienne didn't have a good game, and you just gave the stats. The Chiefs should have pulled through, but when you make those mistakes, those small things lead to a mess up in the end. So I know you're a Chiefs fan, but if you just look at it in terms of stats, it makes sense that you guys should have won this game, but didn't pull through there.
Yeah, and like you pointed out with the rushing attack, uh, Kareem Hunt and Pacheco honestly played decent. Pacheco averaged 5 yards a carry. Kareem Hunt averaged 7 yards a carry. I think we're going to have to start trusting them a little bit more and handing it off a little bit more. But you're right. It's the penalties that'll beat you in this league, and especially against good teams. I think the Jaguars have earned the right to be called a good team.
Yeah.
4-1 now. So you don't want to take anything away from them. They played a great game, and they came out on top.
Go
But the
Jags.
Lions are going down next week. You mark my freaking words.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know.
They're
Yeah.
they're a very good offense. We're going to have to score a ton of points.
Yeah, dude.
One thing to note though, both of their starting corners are out indefinitely this year. Arnold and their other one, I think his last name's Chark, but they're both
Yeah,
out.
DJ Chark. Yep.
Yeah, they're both out
Or
indefinitely. So I think and one thing of note, Patrick Mahomes continues his dominance as far as fantasy goes.
yeah,
So if you have the opportunity, like we talked about last week, to trade for him, it might be
do
too
it.
late now, but he's been playing phenomenal. So, and then like you pointed out, Travis, he kind of had a comeback game here. So he's definitely a guy to look for as well.
If you could trade for Patrick Mahomes, he's quarterback 2 right now. I mean, I doubt somebody would, but maybe just with the possibility. But with Rashid coming back, You just said it. This guy is only going to get better, and he's running like he used to. This guy had 6 carries, 60 yards.
It's the weirdest thing. He doesn't look like he's running fast at all, and he continues to get past defenders. He's a phenomenal runner, and
Yeah,
if he this was the first game in a very long time as a Chiefs fan that I've seen a designed run called for Mahomes, and that's
in
when he got
regular
the red.
season.
Yeah, in the you've seen it in the playoffs occasionally, but regular season design quarterback run in the red zone, that's pretty wild. And if that's going to continue, he's going to just be that much better for fantasy. And I think this might be bold, but he's for sure a top 3 quarterback rest of the year. It could finish as the one. So if you have the chance, I would definitely go get him.
Never would have thought that. In these last 2 years, we've seen him just because the running. But men's running it. Maybe they don't need to run it back.
No, no, no. We need a we need a running back.
Maybe we
Now,
do.
one last thing is we did see Brashard Smith get more
Yeah,
involved this game again.
yeah,
He only had the 1 carry, but he is utilized a lot in the passing game. So that's definitely this is more geared towards dynasty.
right.
But
Or
if
deep
he's
leagues.
out, if he's out there on your dynasty, or yeah, if you're in like a 16-team league or something, he's definitely a guy that you should at least look at stashing
Yeah,
because if these running backs do not pick it up, I could definitely see them. They did this same thing with Pacheco. He was kind of a 7th round pick no one paid attention to, and then all of a sudden he's the lead back on this team. So we've got a new 7th round pick that could become the lead back, and it's just something to keep your eye on.
yeah. I saw you pick him up. You stood on business and you
Dude,
picked him.
what I say, I mean it. I'm not joking. Yeah,
Love
he had 7 points in fantasy this week,
it. Yeah,
and I
off
mean
one
that's
carry.
more. Yeah, and we've got guys like Chase Brown who are being terrible. So he's definitely worth a bench spot.
It's valid. But rough week. On to the next.
Yeah,
We'll
I think in our dynasty league we've got 3 teams at the top at 4-1. Me and Alex are 2 of them, so we're definitely excited for that league.
yeah. I want to see you in the championship.
That would be great. We kind of have a championship pod on here.
That'd be kind of fun. I'd have to come out on top, but it's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think we both kind of gave it away last year. I really thought I was going to win,
yeah.
and then you dealt with a lot of injuries.
I made a huge trade too, trading my future to go all in last year. Ah,
Hey,
this was
but
the
honestly, it has turned out pretty well.
so far, yeah. Barring injuries, boys, we're out there. Well, Matt McDonald, it's always a pleasure, sir. It's been an honor today. Thank you to all of our millions of fans out there that tuned in to Takeology.
Too many to
For
count.
it's getting a bit much to be honest with you, but it's always a pleasure. It's been a blast. We will be here again next week, recapping NFL Week 6. Crazy, 6 weeks in, Matt.
It's it. I think it's just we don't take it for granted because even though it's frustrating, this is such a fun time just to watch football, and it's great to hang out with your buddies. Even though they talk a lot of crap to each other, it's
Yeah,
great to play this. It's great to play this game together.
good old the chats go crazy on the weekends, guys. The chats go crazy.
Yeah, it's you got to mute the group chat.
Yeah,
It's when your team's not doing well, it's terrible.
don't tune in. Don't tune
Yeah, do
in.
not
Do
disturb.
exactly D&D, bro. D&D. Well, to our Takeology lab rats, have a blessed rest of your week. We will be here again next week with all the stats and the good news. We'll see you later.
Peace.